I had always heard that the Scottish Highlands and Islands are the most beautiful, breathtaking and remote parts of Great Britain. And so of course I wanted to visit. But I had also always heard that you need a car, and I can't drive, and my partner would rather not drive. So we decided to go on a mostly car-free adventure and show you how you can travel to this wild and wonderful place by rail and sail and even bus. So let's go! Hello, so I said we were going to Scotland and we are now in Scotland. We came up for my boyfriend's cousin's wedding here in Gretna. It was a very Scottish wedding. So we are just over the border, but this is the beginning of our Highland adventure. We are about to get on a train to Glasgow, and then from there up to Fort William this evening. So hopefully it'll be quite a nice train ride, and we have lots of stops planned for this week up in the Highlands. But wait, before we get on the train up to the Highlands, I wanted to tell you about the train ticket we used to do this travel. ScotRail offer a pass called the Spirit of Scotland Pass, which allows you unlimited travel on any ScotRail trains for 4 days over the course of 8 days. So you can break it up to travel across them. This is £150, but if you, like me and my partner, have a rail card, we have the under 30s rail card, then you can use that to make it £100, which is really great considering how much petrol would cost if you did it by car and how much the train tickets would cost otherwise for this unlimited travel over the course of 4 days. It was definitely worth it, and one of the reasons we decided that a rail journey around the Highlands would be worthwhile. Rail journeys like this are great because obviously they are lower emission, but also because they allow everyone to be able to enjoy the view at the same time because a driver often can't. And also nobody is getting tired from driving around all day. Yes, you are a little more limited in the places you can go, but ScotRail does cover quite a lot of the Highlands, as you can see from this map, and we had great fun exploring the southwest corner of the north of Great Britain. They do also have other passes. They have a Highland Rover, which doesn't include the south, and they have a Central Scotland Rover, which includes like Edinburgh, Glasgow and the bits around there. And there is also a Scottish Grand Tour one, which covers specific lines, but you can't go outside of those. So I will leave everything linked in the description. They haven't asked me to say this, they don't know I exist, but I do think it's a really great service. So if you would like to, I think you definitely should check out those passes before you take your Scotland rail journey. One of the best things about travelling to the Highlands in June is that it is the summer solstice, and as we are so far north, it stays light very late. So even though you don't necessarily get the weather all day, you can stay out late into the night. So it is Monday and we are officially in the Highlands now. We are in Fort William and we are staying at a Premier Inn, which was only 2 minutes walk from the train station, which is really useful because we are only here until about 4:20 this afternoon when we are getting the train to Mallaig, or Mallaig. I've heard people pronounce it both ways. I think it's Mallaig. So Fort William is the gateway to the Nevis Range, which is the mountain range that includes Ben Nevis, the highest point in Britain. So we're not going to be climbing that. As I said, we have a limited time frame, but you can if you come here. And you can climb straight from Fort William, I think. But it is an all-day, like 15-hour hike to go up and back down again. Our plan, however, is to go to the cable car, which is the only one of its kind in Britain. Because I believe you can ski here in the winter, but it still runs in the summer because there are some walks up the 8th highest peak in Britain. I cannot remember the name of it, but I'll put it on the screen and we'll show you when we get there. So we're going to go up there, and the cable car is 7 miles outside of the town of Fort William, but there is a bus that runs from the town centre out there. So we're going to get on the bus and then go up on the cable car. The cable car is £27.50 for each adult, so it is quite a pricey activity, but we are only here for a short time, so it's going to be best, I think, for us to do something like that. We don't have time for a huge walk, and this way we get up on the mountains, which is what Fort William is famous for. If you are going to get the bus, I would check the timetables just to make sure you know when they are running, because not all the buses, like, it's the number 41 bus, but not every time the bus runs does it stop at every stop. So you need to check the timetable to make sure the one you're getting goes where you need to go. But now it is about 8:30, so we're going to go get some breakfast first before we start our day. To go up in the gondolas. Unfortunately, as often happens in the Scottish Highlands, the weather is bad, so there is no visibility, so we're not going to be able to see Ben Nevis, unfortunately. But hopefully we'll be up there for a little while. Maybe some of the clouds will clear and we'll be able to see something at some point. We've come out of town, so there's no time for us to go and do something else instead now before our train to Mallaig, which is at 4:20 this afternoon, and it's now like 12 because we have to wait for the bus for an hour until the bus came. So it's a bit of a shame, but hopefully it'll be a nice trip. I've never been in a gondola before. Anyway, I do have a pounding headache at the minute. That's why my hair is down. Problem with travelling while sick. I'm in a fair amount of pain all around my shoulders and my head. We've made it to the end of the walk for the viewpoint. There is a bench just there, and this is the view. We're actually inside a cloud. It's a very nice walk though. It was worth coming up even though it is low visibility. So if you do come and you ask down there and they say there's low visibility, I definitely still think it's worth coming up because it allows you to do like a mountaintop walk without having to climb a mountain. So if you've got like limited time, it's nice. But yeah, better visibility would be better. Before we went up the mountain, we stopped in at this cafe, which did a lunchtime offer. No, the gondolas have disappeared. We are entirely inside a cloud. Good job we're not far, and there's a clear path, so we're not going to be lost on this mountain. It'll be grand. And that was really lovely too, and I'm sure if it's sunny and clear it's absolutely beautiful to see all of the views, but I think it was worth it anyway, even though we only caught glimpses. It's a lot of fun waiting for it to clear, and yeah, it's a nice thing to do. So if they do say it's low visibility and you're only here for a day, I'd still say go up. The Fort William to Mallaig train line was made famous by Harry Potter because it includes a viaduct that is travelled over by the Hogwarts Express. While we don't support JK Rowling on this channel, if you do wish to travel by steam train over that same viaduct, you can get this train, the Jacobite steamer. Is Mallaig, or Mallaig. It's a little fishing village where you get the ferry to the Isle of Skye, and it's so cute. And there is a seafood restaurant that is really small, but it seems to be incredibly popular, and my boyfriend is currently waiting in a queue for us to go for dinner there. So it looks really nice, and it's really lovely here. It's really sunny, unlike when we were up the mountain, and it's really lovely. So tomorrow we are getting the ferry over to Skye, and I know this video was supposed to be getting around the Highlands on public transport, but because of the planning it seems like that's going to be tricky for us, so we have decided to hire a car once we get to Skye, just for the day, because you can get the ferry over, but because we are only going to be able to be there for the day, the way the buses and ferries line up meant we would only be able to have 3 hours in Skye and probably not see very much. So we're going to hire a car, but I think I've talked to people and they said if you get the bus from Fort William over to Isle of Skye, then you are in the centre of Skye, and it's much easier to do that for public transport, which I would have known if I'd researched before. I just saw that you get the ferry from here, so the ferry and that train journey do not line up with getting to Skye. But however, if you were able to stay on Skye, this would probably be a way to do it, but we decided not to stay on Skye. We're just spending the day there, so for us it made sense. We need to hire a car. We've come to the village of Portree, which is one of the bigger, might be considered a small town. Here on Skye, it's quite small though. And we had some breakfast and we've just had a little walk around. And now we're gonna drive. We picked up some hitchhikers off the boat when we got our car that we've rented. So if you are coming from Mallaig on the boat, you do want to do public transport all the way, and you don't want to only have 4 hours because that's when the buses are running, potentially you could get the early boat and hitchhike from someone on the boat to take you a bit further in, or to where there are more buses. But we are glad we have our car here actually. I think getting around is a bit more difficult here than on the mainland parts of the Highlands. in Mallaig. This morning we went to the bakehouse, which is a really nice bakery here that does like breakfast and lunch. Then we went on a boat to the Knoydart peninsula, and we just went there and back on the boat, but you can go and stay there, and it's like the last wilderness and there's no roads or anything to get there, so you have to go on the boat. So we were thinking about next time we come, we'll probably go there. West Highland Hotel on the top of the hill in Mallaig. It's a place for a drink with the best view. You can sit out in the garden if it's nice. It is, I know it doesn't look nice, but it is quite warm and dry. So. Darling, you know, wait for me and I'll come home. We've come to this hotel now and had a cup of tea and sit down in the nice cosy area, and now we're going to go for the Mallaig circular walk before we catch the train to Oban this evening. It's not a simulation. I'm still dreaming, falling deeper in. This love is an ocean wide that never runs dry. Getting to Glencoe on public transport is quite difficult. There's no train station. But if you do want to go, you can get a bus from either Oban or Fort William. We didn't have time to stop, but we decided to take this bus, which does travel through the glen on its way down to Oban. I wonder why you let me be this close when I surely doesn't let you. Full day in Scotland. It's actually 6 o'clock in the evening now. We were in Oban this morning, and we were talking about like maybe trying to fit in a boat trip because we weren't able to yesterday because of the storm. But to get to where we are now, we had to get the train at 12, and there just wasn't really the time to be rushing about with our bags, like trying to get on a boat. So instead, we are now here in Edinburgh. We are only here until 1 in the afternoon tomorrow before we get our train home, So I'm not sure what we're going to do. We have been to Edinburgh before, so we have been, you know, to the castle and various other touristy hotspots. So I think maybe tomorrow morning we'll try and climb Arthur's Seat before we go. But for now we are going to the Omni Centre because there is a food market there with lots of small traders. So we're going to go and try some food. Our last day in Scotland, our last morning in Scotland. We are going home on the 1 o'clock bus, so now we are going to walk up Arthur's Seat. Arthur's Seat is a very popular walk in the heart of Edinburgh, and as we were travelling on a Saturday morning it was full of people. Unfortunately we didn't have time to make it to the top, and I did manage to fall down on my way down. We're not going quite to the top because we're worried about missing our train, but we're near the top. And we got back home. So thank you very much for watching. If you are new here, my name's Roisin. Welcome. Feel free to stick around. I have very many more travel videos if you would like to go and check them out, travelling both within the UK and outside of it. So I'm sure there will be something there to pique your interest. And let me know your thoughts on Scotland, on my Scotland travel in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again very soon. Bye bye.